Greetings, witches. It is the Crow, formerly known as Piper Sweeney, and we're doing something a little bit different today. Today we will be calling on the Morrigan for assistance and protection, and she is, I will warn you, a rather intense goddess. She is usually known as a war goddess, or sometimes I think I first heard her called a death goddess, actually. I wouldn't exactly call her that. Primarily, she protects soldiers. She also sometimes warns soldiers when they're about to die. Or, I suppose notify might be a better. I'm not going to do anything crazy here, so it is safe for you to go in blind, and there will be an opportunity for you to exit the meditation safely. So if you are, like I am now, in a somewhat desperate situation where you really have no compass pointing to north, don't know exactly what to do next, then this reading is for you. I have some patchouli, not patchouli. What's this shit called again? I have some Palo Santo here, ethically obtained, of course. And we're going to light this for protection so that no bad forces get in and give us anything that didn't come from the Morrigan, if you know what I mean. Sorry, I prefer to do this in my head rather than out loud. That was probably weird to watch, but anyway. You are wandering through life, but feeling somewhat lost. When you feel like there's no hope, you hear a cawing in the woods nearby, and you decide to check it out. When you approach, you see 3 very wise-looking crows. And one of them drops this feather for you. The 3 crows, which you recognize as the Morrigan, a triple goddess, are offering you advice, assistance, and protection if you accept the feather. You are, of course, in the presence of the phantom goddess, and she does expect something in return. You think to yourself, what would be the best offering? You have on your person about $100, some garbage a punk might put on their jacket, and some trail mix you intended to eat for dinner. There is no wrong answer here. Choose what your intuition is leading you to. If you are feeling bad vibes right now, and you want to back out, you can simply return the feather and be on your way. The decision is all yours. For those of you who decided to give up your money to the crows, this is your reading. You have chosen to offer up all of your money to the Morrigan. She, of course, has no need for it, but that's not the point. The point is to prove how much more what she is about to offer you means to you. She accepts your payment. Now let's find out what's going on. Where the fuck is my pendulum? Phantom Goddess, are you here right now? Morrigan, are you ready to give advice to Group 1? The Morrigan has agreed to assist you. What is this? Yeah, that's no good. The first card that fell out was the star in reverse. The star follows the tower in the major arcana in tarot. The star actually follows the tower. And of course, I'm sure most of you by now know what the tower means or what a tower moment is. And I'm assuming that you expected to come out of this tower moment. And you expected to reach the star, but you're not quite there yet. In spite of all of your efforts, you haven't really gotten out of the situation that you honestly expected to be out of by now. So now, above all, you're distressed, you're disappointed, you're overwhelmed. It could be that these bad things are happening for a reason, but that doesn't make you any happier to endure what's going on right now. However, we have the Four of Wands, which in this deck, as you can see, there's a bridge right there, and there is a path that you can take that will get you out. I know it's not very clear, and it doesn't seem like a safe path. It's not going to be the easiest out, but there is a way out, and I want you to know that there is a way out, and that you are strong enough to find it. If you don't feel like a strong person, you may have to become that person. You may have to transform yourself to be able to get across this bridge safely. Because bridges, they represent transformation. And as you can see though, there's a troll under this bridge. And since they represent transformation, I mean, I think pretty clearly with this troll under the bridge, with this reverse star right here, you're going to have to change something about yourself. You're going to have to become a stronger person in order for you to navigate. Because it's not that there isn't a path for you, it's just that that path doesn't appeal to you because risk is involved, danger is involved, fear is involved. Next, we have the Six of Wands here. The Six of Wands, I've always associated it with victory. Once you cross this bridge, as risky as it may seem, the reward will be your success. And I'm feeling that others will also be with you, celebrating your achievement. It may be that all the things you've been going through, you've gone through so you can inspire others around you to do the same, to be able to transform yourself and cross this bridge. Like all this shit that was going on, all these horrible heartbreaks you've dealt with, the tragedies in your life, they weren't the point. The point was that you overcame them. And that's what's going to inspire others, what's going to lead you to victory, and what's going to give you the capacity to help others in the future. Next, we have the Six of Cups. Very cute. A crow feeding its young. Yes, with this Six of Cups, I definitely feel like all of this stuff you're going through is just to prepare you in the future to help others. I know it doesn't sound fair at all, but in the end, you'll be better for it. You'll know who your real friends are. You'll know who's really worthy of your attention, what causes are really worthy of your attention, what you were meant to be. All of this will become clear for you. And of course, lastly, we have this Emperor. The Emperor is another major arcana card. You have two. And it's in this deck represented by a mountain goat. Now, I don't know how much you know about mountain goats. I don't even know how I know this about mountain goats, but they've adapted to live. I don't know how I know half the shit I know. They have adapted to live in an area that most people would not even consider going to. So while a goat may not have been your first thought when the Emperor card comes to mind, I think it's a great choice, especially with this reading here. I'm just getting the impression that you are going to become this Emperor who can stand anything, who is strong enough to go through anything. And I very much see you becoming this, regardless of your gender identity, I see you becoming this Emperor. Probably not even that far into the future. You just have to cross this bridge. And I know you can do it. The Morrigan knows you can do it, or else she would not have even suggested it. Really, I think everything's clear now, but let's see. I'm also going to be reading from the Asylum Oracle, and this was, of course, the Darkwood Tarot. I will have links to both of these in the description. Autograph. Okay, anyway. I have like 3 Emily Autumn autographs. I think she autographed the box too. Morrigan, do you have any advice for them on how to cross this bridge? Okay, we have the hat and the stocking. I haven't quite learned the meanings out of these yet, but honestly I like reading from this book directly. It's a very good book, so let's just do that. Let's just read directly out of the Asylum Oracle. Yes, we're reading the stocking first because I found it first. Okay, reinforcing identity, noticing the signs, finding your tribe. We all have them, the charms that make us feel protected, the items of clothing that reinforce our identity, and for many of us, it's the striped stocking. We slip her on and we are suddenly stronger, suddenly ourselves. It's a celebration. But it can also be frightening to express yourself outwardly, to open yourself to judgment by being the incredibly interesting being that you are. And yet, there is good reason to be brave. When you reveal your identity, through not only your stockings, but also your spirit, your creations, your unique energy, you make it easier for others who may be vibrating on the same frequency to find you. And that is how you attract those people into your life who will become your tribe, your community, your fellow inmates. Now, as you don your stocking today, tell yourself that you will look for the signs around you, and you will soon find that they are everywhere. Be receptive to others who may be reaching out to you, and search for the similarities between you, where you might ordinarily see only the differences. Inmates are found in the most unexpected places. Okay, a little context, because Emily Autumn is a musician, but she's also created this world. This was like way back, I think in 2010 or some shit like that. Actually, a little further beyond that if you're really familiar with her work. In her album Fight Like a Girl and the autobiography, which I don't have with me, autobiography / fantasy retelling of her life, I guess, is what you could call it. Her alter ego is trapped in an asylum while she is inpatient at a psych ward. And in there she meets so many friends that help her out. And I think what this is referring to is this Six of Wands here and this bridge. You're in your own version of the asylum right now. The asylum for wayward Victorian girls. And I don't just see you helping out your tribe here. I think your tribe will help you out too. And you want to do what you can. So if you've been not yourself lately for some reason, maybe you haven't been vibing yourself, maybe you've been missing out on things, activities you'd enjoy, maybe there's something calling to you, some call you've been ignoring, some social activity, or maybe you just haven't been dressing the way that you would prefer to be dressing. Something's stifling who you are, and that's not serving you at this moment. You want to be yourself to attract your people, you know? And you would be, I guess, apparently surprised where you meet these people. Not just the ones that you will be lifting up, but the ones that will be lifting you up as well. I'd say it's time you find your tribe. Or maybe some of you have already found your tribe. I don't want to discount that. Or some of you may be finding out that the people who you thought were your tribe were not quite that. Now let's look for the hat. Ah, here it is. Here I was thumbing through the rest and my other thumb just found it. Alright. Trying something new, building your skills, expanding your identity. Okay. Complete other end of the book, but pretty much the same thing it looks like. You have worn many hats in your lifetime, proven yourself skilled in numerous areas, and now the hat invites you to put on yet another and try something new. Whether it be for work or pleasure, you are ready to show a different aspect of yourself to the world. Perhaps something that will surprise those around you, and even yourself. As you hold the hat in your hands, breathe deeply, and speak your chosen skill. Like literally do that right now. As you hold the hat in your hands, breathe deeply and speak your chosen skill. This new addition to your identity out loud, knowing that there is nothing too big or too small. Perhaps you wish to learn a language, study a dance, build on your magical practices, or simply think in a new way. Now, raise the hat to your head and notice how comfortably it fits. Sturdy and secure, It fills you with complete confidence. Imagine how it will feel to enjoy this expansion to your identity. How will mastering this skill enrich your life? Decide how you will exercise this skill today and commit to it wholeheartedly. When you are ready, remove the hat and set it up in an honored place upon the shelf where you keep all your other hats, and know that it is now a treasured part of you. Yeah, especially with what I said about the stalking, I'm really getting the impression that there's some new skill that you're planning on pursuing, or that you really want to pursue, some hobby that might end up being part of what gets you across this bridge. Or it may just give you the strength and courage, or just the downtime you need to recharge so you can get across this bridge. Something like that. Whatever seems to resonate the most. Maybe even a little bit of both. I think for a lot of you, it's a little bit of both. Now I'm just going to be using some playing cards to just kind of see if there are any other messages coming out. I'm not going to count that. Okay, I feel like there's a little bit more. There's a lot of spades in this reading. Spades, as you may have guessed, are probably the worst ones. Not to freak you out, but anyway. We have the Eight of Spades, which is temptation, misfortune, danger, upsets. Now, one thing that's popping out to me I'm really noticing is the Five of Spades, which also kind of reminds me of the Five of Cups. It's like an obstacle that's temporary, but also maybe a blessing in disguise. Probably at a personal low right now. This might be one of, if not the worst situations you've overcome. But when you overcome, it will help you become this emperor here. And try to avoid the temptation to just do what's comfortable for you, to like keep on repeating the same patterns. It's tempting to not cross this bridge, but you need to cross the bridge eventually. Because otherwise it's just going to be the same old rut, and it's just going to keep on going like that forever. Now the website I use for cartomancy is actually Cafe Astrology's cartomancy page, and it does say that the King of Hearts represents a fair-haired man with a good nature, a man with water signs dominating his chart, so that's Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And I use constellational, by the way, or sidereal, as you may know it, which is similar to Vedic. I don't use Western astrology. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but if you see somebody and you think they have a lot of water energy on their chart based on how they act, that's probably it. We'll just go with that. Gut instinct. Fuck astrology, I hate it. But anyway, fair, helpful advice, an affectionate, caring man, and this man will help you out without much talk. His actions reveal his kindness and concern. Okay. I hate reading off websites and shit, but that may not be for all of you. For some people, this may be what you're becoming. For others of you, it may be somebody who is coming in your life or who is in your life who can help you cross this bridge. See, I don't think I've gone over the Four of Diamonds yet. So, the Four of Diamonds, it's usually good advice from an older person or a financial upswing. So I don't see this energy lasting forever. When you make these changes to yourself that all need to be made, and you cross this bridge, you'll get everything you need. You will be handsomely rewarded. The Morrigan thanks you for your offering, even though it was just a guided meditation and technically you didn't give her anything. This is my money, but whatever. However, should you want to work with the Morrigan, I do think there's a lot she could do to benefit you. Just keep in mind, you're not really getting into a nice energy. You're getting into an effective energy. I can tell you right now, between the Morrigan and Moldavite, I am insane. I've learned things that I wish I could unlearn, but alas, life does not work that way. I've definitely seen the ugliness of the world, but I'm also more prepared for what's to come, so again, if you decide to become a devotee of the Morrigan, like I have, or just maybe work with her once, see what you can get, test the waters first, that's all up to you, no pressure. Though I do get the impression she would like to work with you. But you don't have to accept that call. Well, that's all for you, Group 1, or I guess I could call you Group Money with this 4 of diamonds here. Alright. Y'all stay safe, and good luck crossing that bridge, alright? And of course, blessed be motherfuckers. For those of you who chose to offer the crows shiny fun things, this is your reading. You didn't want to give up anything too useful to you, such as the trail mix or the money. The Morrigan is not offended. The Morrigan understands. Morrigan, are you here right now? Morrigan, are you ready to please give Group 2 some advice? Alright. That's a lot of reversals. Was this... not this one. I had another card that seemed like it was kind of ready to fall out. This one. Does this belong in the reading, Morrigan? Can you cut me a break? That's a lot of cards. Okay, fine. That was a clear no. Well, so we have the sun in reverse, and I'm getting the feeling you've learned some harsh truths lately. A lot of people see the sun as a joyful card, but I always associate it with, like, the truth. I just got called into work. Okay, it's been a while. But I promised the Morrigan I'd get this tarot reading out, and nothing's been working for me, so obviously, my bad. The Morrigan is not a goddess you want to flake on, even if it's just because you have ADHD, so we're finishing this reading, even though I'm not having the best circumstances. Alright. Sorry for the scratching noise, Butter Nuggets at his post. And ignore the band-aid, I accidentally cut myself at work. Anyway. So I'm sensing you feel like you kind of related to that intro a bit. Or at least nothing's working out for you. And you've probably learned some harsh truths lately. Sorry, focusing. And you probably learned a lot of... I'm getting with this sun in reverse. So the sun, a lot of people think of it as a happy card. I don't think so quite so much. I think it's more... And he picks now to shit. Butter Nugget picks now to shit. Anyway, it's a card of truths being revealed. The sun casts its blinding light on everything. You can't ignore it anymore. Things aren't working out. Maybe you found out some things about people recently that you don't like. Maybe something's been clear to you and it's just really bogging you down. And also, probably things aren't going so well right now, because we do also think of the sun as like gifts, happiness, that sort of thing. And I'm just not getting a good vibe off of sun in reverse. Hold on, look, I'm looking up Two of Wands because I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. The card, I think it is, yeah. I'm new to this deck. And I think you're getting like tangled up in this energy too. And you're kind of not seeing the forest through the trees, or more rather, you're not seeing the big picture. And God, Butter Nugget, fuck you. So I'm thinking you had good intentions, or at least didn't quite have bad intentions with something. But you're blaming too many external factors on what happened and not taking accountability for yourself. And now you want help from the Morrigan. And now I'm going to tell you why that's not going to work out. Okay, I hate doing tough love, I really do. But if you've dicked over a friend or a colleague or something like that, maybe you haven't been fair with somebody, maybe you cheated on your girlfriend, or you've been talking to someone on Tinder, the Morrigan is not liking it. And you know, karma is real. It's not so much put bad thing into world, get bad energy back. Put good into world, get good energy back. It's not like that. It's a lot more complicated than that. And Sometimes misfortune follows magic, as this book puts it. And that's probably what's going to happen if you don't right whatever wrong's been done. And now I'm going to explain a little bit more of the situation before I read from this book, but you see, I see the world right here and it's in reverse and seem kind of wrapped up in the middle of everything that's been going on, and whatever wrong that's going on, you're blaming it on, I'd say, the world largely, but you can't fix the world, you can't change the world, and we'll get more into that later, but you know, blame the economy for why this went this way, or blame society's expectations for why this didn't work out, etc., etc., etc. And the Morrigan is not going to help you unless you help yourself. And I'd say a lot of upper beings, you know, not just the Morrigan, but pretty much any infernal being is gonna be the same way. So if you are reaching out to infernal beings for help, but you can't help yourself, you can't right your wrongs, it's probably not going to work out. And the reason I say this, and I do hate doing tough love, well, look at this passage in the book. I knew a man who cast a spell to bring magic into his life. The spell was not meant to harm anyone, and he cast it with the simple intent to invoke a meaning and a beauty. A good spell. How could it have gone wrong? At first it worked. He began having prophetic dreams, synchronistic conversations, instant manifestation, blah blah blah. However, his metaphorical garage was filled with some highly flammable stuff. He had a serious girlfriend, but was secretly seeing another woman. Soon after he cast his spell, his girlfriend found out about the duplicity and dumped him in a very public, embarrassing way. Then his job literally went to shit. A pipe burst in his workplace, flooding it with sewage, and his position was then cut so the company could pay for the repairs. Then he was hit by a van. The end. No, I don't mean to say you're gonna get hit by a van. No, not like that. I'm just saying, if there's something amiss, you need to take care of it now. And again, I'm not saying this to shame you or to hurt your feelings. This is for your own good. If you've done something and you know that it's your fault, you need to take accountability for that. Like, I know you're struggling, but like, so is everyone else. We are all in a very bad energy. You know, we've had a global pandemic, and I don't even want to get started on everything that's been going on, but, you know. Now, for moving forward, other than righting your wrongs to make sure you're covered and that karma's not going to bite you in the ass, other than that, you're also going to need to navigate through the woods. Because this world right here, this isn't going to be flipped right side up for a really long time. I'm just going to be honest with you, the world is going to be shitty for years to come. I don't expect the world to get better. It's not going to get better, not anytime soon, okay? We're basically, at this point, we're waiting for aliens to come from another planet to save us. Or another dimension, however aliens work. I suspect dimensions, personally, but whatever. And I don't mean like dimension, like... Why am I talking about math? Anyway. Sometimes all you need is a little wedge and a hammer to get through something that's really hard. Like you... Let's see. So let's take this rock, for example. Say you're stuck on the other side of this rock. You can't get through. The rock is solid, no way out. And that's how you look at it. This is where we're at. This is where all of society is going to be at for a while. But if you're extremely smart about it, very careful about it, and very diligent, and you take the right tools, you can break through this rock. So even though it's really hard to get out of this, you can get out of it. And, but it will take a lot of time, it will take a lot of consistency, it will take patience, and it will take good faith. It's not an easy road. Also, I'd say a lot of this is in your head. And I don't mean like that, like it's not real as in your head. I mean like, excuse me, mental illness. I said earlier dissociation. I definitely feel a lot of that. Like some of you may be unplugging, playing too many video games, spending too much time on TikTok, YouTube, stuff like that. Just anything you can to check out from the world temporarily because you feel like you cannot break through. And that's really, it's just getting in your way. It's a roadblock that you need to get through before you can move on. So basically, you're going to be stuck in the woods until you do some serious shadow work. And because the world's just not going to change. And I know that I hate saying it. And I hate that this is the message that's coming to me in this reading because I want things to be easier. But then again, if things are easy, how are we going to learn? How are we going to better ourselves? You know what I mean? So anyway, once you confront all of this, we have the Queen of Wands, the Chariot in reverse, and then the Ace of Swords. Now note that once you get into this Queen of Wands energy, which is, you know, this, now the important thing to realize now about this Queen of Wands energy that you want to take on is that you need to, now the important thing to realize, you may think, oh, the Queen of Wands, it's next, so that's what I will get through by getting through all this, but actually you need to start resonating with the Queen of Wands now in order to get through all this, because like I said, this isn't going away anytime soon, this roadblock. So you need to stay rooted in the present, what's going on around you. Focus on things that make you passionate, not things that help you dissociate, but things that help you create. Like for example, say you have two hobbies that get your mind off things. One is playing video games until 4 a.m. and then crying the next day. And one is working on your novel or your songwriting or whatever. Definitely choose the productive disconnect because that's what's going to help you break through. Because I think a lot of you are very talented and really you just need to keep at it. And I know this sounds so discouraging, but, or maybe not discouraging so much as difficult, but like the only thing really stopping you is yourself. Because no matter how bad the world gets, it won't get so bad that you can't. Well, you can escape it. You just need to keep working at whatever it is you're good at. And you'll eventually make it through to the other side with enough applied, concentrated pressure. But keep in mind, keep it to one thing and keep going. Now, I'm not saying you can only have one hobby your whole life, but say you're working on a book, you're also thinking about scripting a video game, you're also planning a tarot card deck, and then you have a songwriting hobby on the side, and then you're working on your YouTube channel. That's like taking your pickaxe and you're going here, 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 and you're expecting to break through the other side, and that's just not going to happen. I'm getting a lot of ADHD here. That impulsivity in the ADHD might be part, and lack of focus is probably a lot of what got you in this mess, and not necessarily so much just the world. Though it would be nice if the world accepted neurodivergence more. You know, let's just not make it an excuse, because otherwise we're gonna be miserable forever, you know what I mean? I've been there, definitely. That was also a bit of the Chariot, by the way, at least in this deck, which again, I'm still learning this deck, but it does specifically mention an inability to sit still, distraction, confusion, scatterbrain, unfocused. That's where I'm getting the ADHD, but also, you know, that can happen in depression, autism, bipolar disorder, a lot of various different things. It recommends to find an energetic balance and an inner calm. Stimming might help you. Like whether you're neurodivergent or not, maybe try stimming. I know if you're not neurodivergent, you're probably like, isn't that for autistic people? But no, seriously, it's relaxing, otherwise I wouldn't recommend it. And it can help you channel your energy more productively, you know? And also, don't like sit there and obsess. And this isn't one that came to my mind instinctively, but it was written in the book. Don't obsess over lack of moving forward, because when you first start taking on this energy, you're not going anywhere. Because, like, for example, say when you go into a restaurant, you don't just sit down and then the food appears in front of you. You have to wait for the wait staff to come approach you. They have to take your order. They have to, well, if it's Waffle House, we have to call the order. Then the cook has to cook the order, and then they have to deliver it to you. And whatever you're trying to manifest in the universe, whatever your goal you're trying to achieve, it's gonna take time. Also, my cat is giving you nudges and love. He's like, Crowfather is not being supportive enough. Allow me to offer my love and assistance. Yeah, okay. And then we have this Ace of Swords. And you know what I was saying earlier about breaking through? I think this is kind of like a pictorial interpretation of that. Stop messing up my card, you bitch. Also, I could have used better words that made more sense, but you know what I mean, I hope. Just keep working at it and you will figure something out. And that will give you your fresh new start in life, and you will finally, after all of this, finally become unstuck. So to recap, make sure your karma is good, make sure you're resonating at the right level, then maybe you can ask for assistance, probably not from the Morrigan, I don't know. I don't usually recommend working with a specific deity. I recommend working with the one that you feel is calling out to you. If you feel it's the Morrigan, though, I don't know, I think she kind of has a harsh energy that you might not like in your current state, but anyway. Yeah, and then you can break through. Stop gnawing on my arm. I swear he's doing that off camera. Okay, whatever. I guess that's it. I hope things get better for you. Keep on keeping on and you will break through, and blessed be, motherfuckers. For those of you who decided to feed the crows, this is your reading. Alright, for those of you who chose to give up your trail mix to the crows, they are very excited about these unsalted nuts. Key, unsalted. Salt is very bad for birds. Don't give them salted nuts or seeds. Don't give them rice. It will explode in them. That sort of thing. Anyway. Calling the Morrigan again. It's been a couple days. This is my ethically obtained Palo Santo. I'm going to clear the area. Be sure to get it from an ethical source, because while it's very crucial to the area's economy, the tree is also endangered. But some branches just naturally fall off, you know. Nothing we can do about that. May as well use the resources given to us. Just don't overdo it. I invite my spirit guides and the Morrigan to join me for this reading. Show me yes. Show me no. Morrigan, are you here right now? Are you willing to assist this group? Alright. Can we get started now? Alright, thank you for coming. And for everything, really. What's going on with the nut group? Okay, so we have the Five of Wands here and the Page of Cups. So I'm thinking there's a lot of arguing around you that seems, or a lot of just generally negative vibes and shit going on around you, and it all feels kind of pointless to you. Just utterly buffoonish. They're all completely stupid. And a part of you is a little bit naive, and you know you're a little naive. Like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand this. But at the same time, on some level, you know, oh my god, this is just so fucking stupid. People just need to put aside their differences, get along, make things work. And you're just beyond frustrated because things aren't working. And there's really no reason that they shouldn't be working other than basically human folly. And this is putting a struggle on your life. Hold on, let me see if I can get some more insight. I'm also seeing a little bit of childish, like, not in like a bad childish way, but like you're really loving and accepting And that's part of the reason that all the fighting going around, whether it's just in the world in general or in your personal life, or probably both, honestly. And that's why it's bogging you so down so much. You are a really sensitive person. Lemuria popped into my head, which I don't usually talk about stuff like that on this channel. I don't get too far into this past life shit, other worlds and whatnot, but maybe some Sirius. Some of you might be Pisces. I also thought Aquarius, or have those placements in your sidereal chart somewhere. Probably highly intuitive, highly psychic, and you know, that's why you have this strange balance where it seems like you're so naive and yet so awake at the same time. And I hate this glare on these cards, but we're gonna make do, because I feel like the Morrigan has been very mad at me because it's taken me days to get through this reading. Because I just rage quit in the last group because I didn't want to do it anymore. Because I didn't like that the message wasn't positive. So I was just like, some of this was brought on to themselves and I don't want to tell them that, I'm out. And the Morrigan was like, nope, we had a deal. I'm gonna help you get a house. And you're gonna do this tarot reading. And so far, all sorts of ridiculous ass shit has kept me from getting a home. So I'm tired of being a hobo. I'm sorry, Morrigan, I'm doing it. Okay, I'm doing the reading. Doing the damn reading! Give me! But anyway, yeah, basically, and I think this is partially in the world and partially in your personal life. Or it's things that are going on in the news that are like directly impacting your life right now. That for other people that's just the news, but for you it's like actually affecting you, impacting you. Like say you live in Texas right now or Afghanistan. And forgive me for only mentioning those two things because I don't watch the news, but I've heard snippets of it. So whatever is someone else's news story might be your life right now. It might be that for you. But basically, it seems while everyone else is dicking around and not getting anything done because they can't get along, you're suffering. And that's definitely not fair. But what can you do about it? Some of you want to fight the system, I think. I know I haven't drawn any cards yet, but that's what I'm thinking. Especially because, you know, the Morrigan, people think of her as, oh, a Celtic war goddess. But what they don't realize is that there are a lot of everyday battles in life. It's not all, oh, you go to war, you fight, you win, you die, whichever. It's sometimes, you know, like, we're currently probably on the cusp of a class revolution. And I think this group definitely wants to take part of that. You want to end the squabbling. Some of you want to be politicians. And I think you're too smart to be a politician. I really do. It's a game, you know. It's all a bunch of... It's just a game. It doesn't work the way we think it does. Or, well, okay, it works the way... You know, there's stuff going on behind the scenes. It's just not fair. And I don't feel like it's a place that's meant for someone like you. But that doesn't mean there's nothing you can do to change the world. Now let's see what else we got here. Nine of Swords. Yes, we've been new. We don't even have to cover that card. Oh, okay. Not everyone knows tarot. I'll just read it for you. I'm getting lazy. Slave to mental agony. Obsessive compulsive thinking. Wakefulness and distress. Anxiety over self-worth. Guilt and shame over who you are. Feeling like a failure. Worry and stress. That sort of shit. Basically, if you think it's you, that you're the problem or something like that, if you ever start to feel like that, it's not you. It's the chaos and other people who are in kind of resonating lower than you have more power than you. Because, you know, it's not like the world is set up in a way where the most advanced souls are the ones who are in charge. Sometimes people who are resonating near the bottom, just not very spiritually aware, not vibing very high, they end up being the ones in control. And that's why things are the way they are. It's not you. You're fine, okay? There's nothing like intrinsically wrong with you. There might be certain things you could do differently or do better that could change things and help, you know, be the, you know, the thing that improves shit. Except pretend I said that in an intelligent way that made sense. Anyway, ADHD, I had a brain fart. I lost what I was talking about, but You get it. There are things you could do better, but that doesn't mean that you are the reason that these things are happening, okay? And never forget that, alright? Sometimes life just fucking sucks. Like I was telling the last group, the world sucks and it's gonna suck for a long time. That's not your fault, but that doesn't mean there's nothing you can do in the meantime. Just make sure not to play the blame game too much, because when you're in that mindset, you're not really thinking solutions, you know what I mean? Morrigan, how can this nut group get unstuck? Okay, so it's kind of weird to me to see the Ace of Wands, because I always see this as like the dick card. Like, I'm sorry, it's just how I see it. Like when you're facing up, it's more like a new passion being ignited, or a certain connection or something like that, if you know what I mean. Strength, power, but that's in reverse. So in the context of this reading, that's not too good. If you're feeling powerless, that's like, yeah. Maybe you have a lot of passion to change things, but it's not quite coming out in the right way. I'm thinking you're internalizing it, because we have the Eight of Swords right here. This is what it looks like right side up. You know, being hanged, surrounded by swords, but like there's plenty of gaps. I mean, that noose isn't very tight. She could get out of here. But it's this mental prison, sort of. Because you see, everyone thinks of this as a physical card, like, oh, you're physically trapped by what's going on around you, but no, actually, you feel trapped. It's all psychological. You're not actually trapped, you're free. Or you could be, anyway. I mean, to the extent of your circumstances, anyway. You're free to make changes. There may be consequences, like, for example, if you suddenly decide, okay, I'm going to start a class rebellion, there are going to be consequences to that. I'm not going to tell you there aren't going to be. But just keep in mind that a lot of it also is like, the prison is inside of you. Does that make sense? So whatever you do, don't internalize this, because I get the impression a lot of you are internalizing this. Don't internalize it. It's not your fault. Alright, it may be your problem. It's definitely your problem, but it's not your fault. Anything else I can get? Oh, thanks. The Hierophant. Some of you are meant to change the world in a softer way. Actually, yeah, I really get that impression. Like in All Out Class War, like I keep using that as an example because that's what's on my mind personally. But like, you probably can't change this stuff overnight, but through slow, steady effort, and teaching and educating others, this chaos, I mean, how do I say this in a way that's not insensitive? When I look at this, I see the government, I see Congress, the Senate, I see a bunch of immature little goblins with torches and pitchforks. And this may be your family, it might not be something like global, but I sense global issues are probably bothering you too. But whatever the case, I mean, this is something that you can change and get out of by shining your guiding light. And I know that sounds so difficult, and the world absolutely does not make it easy. I mean, it seems like, for example, the thing to do seems to educate others seems to be start a YouTube channel or write a self-help book or something like that, make a tarot deck. And it just seems like the market is so saturated with those. They're like, oh my god, how could my opinions possibly make a difference? But the thing is, you know, it's not like, oh, the market's saturated, we can't do this anymore. There's no capitalism in the spirit world, alright? Every part of the spiritual machine is important. Every single tiny little cog, everything you do is important. Even if what you do only changes like one person, that may seem small to you, but what you don't realize is that one person who's been changed because of you, they're going to change other people around them. And we're all going to continuously evolve and get better as a species. And You know, it may not be this lifetime where this Five of Wands is completely resolved, but you will see the effects in this lifetime. So don't get discouraged. Just keep on shining your light. And I know that sounds super fucking cheesy, and I'm sorry. I really am. But you have everything you need is already inside of you. And that's why I'm not really getting any helpful cards with the answer, is because you have the answer. Somewhere buried deep within you, you know what's right, and you know what you need to do. Whatever it is, whatever gift you were given in your life, whether you were born a psychic, an artist, a singer, whatever it is with you, that's how you're gonna change the world. Does that make sense? And if you're like, oh, I have no fucking talent, I'm useless, that's not true. That's just this mental prison you're in. There is something special about you, some reason that you were born into this life. It's not meaningless. Ah, the Seven of Cups. Okay. So for some of you, it's not one little thing. There are a lot of things. Or you may be like, what is my thing? What is special about me? Maybe you can't stay focused. Maybe you're not sure. Maybe you feel like your talents aren't real. Maybe you feel like you're a damn fraud, or maybe you're having a hard time, I think a lot of you, trusting this intuition. You're like, was this reading really for me? Did I pick the wrong stack? I must have picked the wrong stack because there's nothing special about me. And yeah, the Morrigan is saying you need to unlock your potential. And you're going to do that by taking care of yourself and putting yourself first and understanding that your voice actually deserves to be heard. Because if you can't trust yourself, how are other people supposed to trust you? So one of the lessons you need to learn in this lifetime, and I'm getting a really big sway on this pendulum, one of the lessons you need, it's like a priority to learn in this lifetime, is to respect yourself so others will respect you in turn. Because in psychology, humans, they don't listen to the most qualified person in the room. You may have noticed that by watching any political debate. They listen to the loudest, most sure of themselves. So whatever you say, even if like one or two details are off, no one's going to care because people are stupid. All they want is the most confident person in the room to tell them everything's gonna be all right and that they don't have to change a thing about their lives, you know? So, yeah, I'm tired of the swinging pendulum. We get it. So when everyone's like, oh yeah, the world isn't on fire, global warming isn't real, blah blah blah, climate change is just not real, it's not getting hotter and hotter every year, the ice caps are melting, blah blah blah, just keep on burning your fossil fuels and shit, that's a good sell. What hope do you possibly have if you go in there timidly and say, well, actually there's a lot of scientific evidence? You need to believe in yourself. People are pretty set in their ways, and especially when the message is inconvenient, they're not going to listen to what you have to say unless you say it with a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of conviction, and a lot of confidence. Now we're going to do the Asylum Oracle. What does this group really need to hear right now? Any last advice? We have the veil and the eye patch. First, let's look at the veil, and I'm just going to read directly from this book. This tarot is themed off of the Asylum for Wayward Victorian Girls, where Emily Autumn reimagines her time in a psych ward as time in a Victorian era asylum, which she has to escape with the aid of her friends. So the veil. Secrecy, evolution, glamour, revealment. I really like her writing, so I'm just going to read it, okay? The veil casts her net of mystery and glamour over you, allowing you to appreciate the incubation period just before you unleash your vision and stun your audience with the magic of what you have created. Whether you are perfecting an artwork, practicing to perform in public, preparing to show a new side of yourself to the people in your life, there is much enjoyment to be had in the time leading up to such displays of energy, for this is when you plot, plan, and refine. The excitement builds within you as you transform, and you radiate an air of delicious intrigue wherever you go. You feel your power growing, multiplying, and you imagine how thrilling it will be when you finally lift the veil, knowing that the reality will be even better than your fantasy. Take the time to delight in these quiet, secret moments, these days of work and preparation, when your dreams belong only to you, knowing that you are in no rush to reveal. Lift the veil when the time is right, and make your dramatic entrance in all your glory. The veil will always be here for you when you need to retreat and build up your energy again. Alright, so all this stuff, it doesn't have to happen overnight, okay? You can take your time to become the sort of person that you need to be, to become this hierophant for others, and to, to free yourself. And when it's time to lift that veil, do it when it feels right, and that time will come for you. I promise it will come for you. It may seem far off now, especially if you're young, but there will come a time in your life where you become more comfortable when others, where you become more assertive, when you become more dominant and sure of yourself. What helped me, and I don't know why I feel called to share this, is actually waiting tables. Because I work at a Waffle House, alright? Waffle House. You have to be loud there, because it's really loud in there. And it's helped me come out of my shell quite a bit in these past 2 months since I've been on YouTube. So much about me has changed. I feel like an entirely different person now. I probably come off as an entirely different person now. And that'll help. That'll happen for you too. I'm not saying work at Waffle House, but I'm also saying don't not work at Waffle House. Wait. Anyway, I'm not trying to text careers to Waffle. I'm kidding. No, anyway. Next, we have the eye patch. Overcoming blindness. Narrowing focus for a clearer vision. And this goes back, I think, to the Seven of Cups right here. Because this is very scattered, unsure energy. We have the incredible ability to perceive so much at one time, to take in so much information, process so many seemingly simultaneous thoughts, that it is easy to become overwhelmed and blind to the true reality of the situation. The eye patch offers you the opportunity to temporarily narrow your vision by covering one eye, thus reducing distraction, so you can focus intently on the one thing that needs to be dealt with now. Whilst you may be worried about losing sight of the bigger picture, trust that the eye patch will gracefully untie her ribbons as soon as you have learned to hone your perception, leaving you with a clear and more accurate view of that bigger picture than you ever had before. Now, I think we all know what this means. You're not going to be able to be in this energy while you're distracted. But that focus, that's something you can learn. And I've come to find that too, I have ADHD, I have autism, I'm bipolar. Focusing is not my strong suit. But believe me when I say that with enough effort and, less of this, you can kind of learn to adapt, to all these distractions, to really hone in and determine what needs to be done. And this is, of course, another thing that's just gonna come with time. The universe, it has a plan for you. And it's a plan you chose before you came to this life. It's a plan you specifically came into this life, into this plan, into this specific set of circumstances. Like, before you were born, you knew you'd be coming here, and it's to complete this mission. And the path will unfold for you eventually. And it will become clear as day what you need to do. I think that's all I've got. Y'all stay safe. Have a great day, and blessed be, motherfuckers.